everyone to another segment of Burnt Coverage. I'm your host Curtis.
And I'm Joel.
And we're here breaking down the tight end plays for week 4 of the NFL season. I'll go ahead and lead if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
Thank you
I'm
so
curious as to what you have to say.
And America is too. So America, I'm going to lead off with a low-end play that I think a lot of people won't be playing. And I think a lot of people had high hopes for it beginning of the year, but have kind of fallen back off of. And that's Owen Daniels. Owen Daniels had a lot of success before in Houston. And he's a bit older, yes, but he went to a Peyton Manning offense, which Peyton Manning has always relied on his tight ends. But unfortunately, Gary Kubiak stepped in the way and wanted to start a run game. There's a problem. You cut Peyton Manning off at the knees, your offense looks terrible in week 1, and you decide, oh, maybe we'll let the best quarterback in the history of the league run his own offense. And guess what? Peyton Manning's responded. He's had very good games the last 2 weeks, and I think that'll continue in week 3 versus Minnesota. Minnesota actually has a very good pass defense, except they're not that great against the tight end. First of all, Owen Daniels clocking in 2,700 in DraftKings, very low price, and 4,600 in FanDuel. Well, Payne's back. He loves his tight ends. And last week, he targeted Owen Daniels, his top tight end, 9 times. And he responded with a touchdown. Virgil Green, the backup tight end, only got 50 snaps to Owen Daniels' 60 snaps, 6-0 to 15. So Daniels was on the field a lot. Obviously, as Payne loves his tight ends, he loves to go to them in the red zone. I think Owen Daniels is a very low-end, safe play, high-floor play. Minnesota's 21st against the tight end, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Owen Daniels catch another touchdown, even put in a decent amount of yardage this week.
I like Owen Daniels a lot. Peyton Manning is feeling more comfortable in the offense now, and again, it's a thing of a putrid offensive line and a lack of running game. Like the Denver running game, everyone was very high on beginning of the season with Anderson and Hillman, and they've really done nothing. And so Owen Daniels is quickly becoming the safety net for Peyton Manning. And a safety net for Peyton Manning is fantasy goodness.
Mm-hmm. And once again, like, is he as good a play as some other people? I don't want to cut anybody off here, but Greg Olson's been good. Is he as good as Gronk? No. Is he? Well, Gronk's on bye, but yeah. Is he as?
He will score more points than Gronk this week.
Yeah, he will. He will. Guaranteed. You heard it here first. And even Jordan Reed, who I'll cover, just surprised that, bring that on you. Maybe not, but the price though, I mean, 2,700 in DraftKings, he's easily going to cover that. It's a very safe play this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's the offensive scheme that, like, they love the tight end, mm-hmm. and it's just, it makes sense. And it's just a matter of identifying trends and probabilities and what is most likely to happen. And I think Owen Daniels has a good game this week.
And Minnesota shut down a very good, or I think at least solid, Chargers offense. Granted, you saw Keenan Allen have a big game, but that was all in garbage time.
Yeah.
So I think Minnesota does a good job. It's hard to shut down Demarius and Emmanuel Sanders. I'll give them that. But I think they'll be covered a little more, and that'll open up things for Owen Daniels.
Yeah, I think Minnesota's got a very good defense, and I think the one thing they will be able to not shut down, but at least limit the production from, is the wide receiving core of Denver. And that will just open things up down the seam for the tight end. I hate agreeing with you. So I'm going to move on to Charles Clay is my tight end choice this week. He's Buffalo Bills tight end. It's not a sexy name by any stretch of the imagination, but he's caught a touchdown in the last 2 games. And last week he delivered a stat line of 5 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. And now he gets to face a putrid New York Giants defense that is giving up a league worst 335 yards passing yards through the air, and they also allow the 4th most fantasy points to tight end position. I've already called for in a previous segment for the Derek Carr, Amari Cooper as my sack of the week, but a very close second choice for my sack of the week was a Tyrod Taylor, Charles Clay stack. They're a very dirt cheap price, and there's going to be points scored in this game because the defenses are fairly suspect, and I really think that there's money to be made in these offenses this week.
I'm not.
Prices. 5,200 on FanDuel and 3,300 on DraftKings. Again, DraftKings, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not anti-Charles Clay at all. My only thing is actually, it's a weird thing. I usually like tight ends when they're playing. Yeah, I mean, I always like a tight end.
We've made that joke in week 1.
Yeah, and we'll continue making it. 16 weeks, we got that joke.
Stay classy, Cleveland.
I really like when a tight end is playing a good defensive front because it means the quarterback has to dump the ball off to said tight end. The Giants don't have a good pass rush. They only got their first sack last week against a come-from-behind Kirk Cousins. So I'm actually more in favor of Harvin and Robert Woods this week than I am Clay. Not that I don't think Clay is a good player, or he might even be good this week, but I'm not as high on him as Joel.
Well, I had 2 touchdowns in a row, and this is the tight end that they targeted in free agency. They brought him in with a specific purpose of playing this role, and I just think he's more talented offensively than Robert Woods. Percy Harvin scares the hell out of me because I've been burnt by him in the past, he's been in Rex Ryan's offenses before and been less than spectacular. So yeah, I'll for 3,300. Yeah, I'll take Clay.
Yeah, it's more of just a note than a complete dismissal of Clay. I just for me personally, I like it when a tight end is like the last option that a quarterback can get it.
Yeah, well, if we've learned anything through 4 weeks of all these segments, is never dismiss what I say.
Wow. And confidence is sky high right now in bird coverage.
It's a true story.
Oh boy.
What's next? Who do you got?
What's next? Guy I've already mentioned, Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed continues to be Kirk Cousins' security blanket, and throughout every game in Kirk Cousins' career when Jordan Reed has been on the field, he has got many targets. If anybody watched the Thursday game last week, you saw why Jordan Reed is a must-play. Jordan Reed last week, almost 100 yards, and should have had a huge game, possibly a 2-touchdown, 130, 140 game, but Kirk Cousins was this close on 2 red zone targets. Jordan Reed is the red zone target for the Redskins. There's nothing to deny there. And Jordan Reed is a fantastic talent. His only problem has been injuries. So on a week-to-week basis, Jordan Reed's a good guy. In a year-long standard fantasy league, it's a little hard to trust him. But week-to-week basis, I think he's a very strong play. Now, everybody's gotten wind, it seems like, as the thousands of people who have been watching the bird coverage broadcast, and we've been preaching Jordan Reed all the time. His price has gone up and up and up. So he's worked his way into the top 10. He's actually, I think, the 6th top tight end in DraftKings. He's coming in at 4,500 in DraftKings, 5,600 in FanDuel. But 4,500 for a guy that can get 100 yards and a touchdown is very cheap. And he's tripled his points every week. So I don't see that changing. You don't have to worry about the injuries week to week. So I think he's a very safe play.
And I do think we need to apologize to our viewers because we are the sole reason that Jordan Reed's price has skyrocketed through 3 weeks of the season because he has been mentioned every week. And no, I agree. Like his numbers are great, and they should be even better because he should have had one more touch. He dropped a touchdown in the St. Louis game, and last week Kirk Cousins overthrew him that one. But yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with the play.
And I think Deshaun Jackson's coming back at any moment. It might be this week, but I don't think it hurts him that much. And maybe a look, but I actually think it helps him a little bit because Deshaun Jackson is the speed go long guy. I think it opens up the middle of the field for Jordan Reed. So feel free to play him. He's not as expensive as Greg Olsen. He's running that Martellus Bennett line. He's another guy that I'm like on the cusp with, but a decent play.
Yeah, I mean, I think Deshaun Jackson will probably play this week, but Deshaun Jackson's not going to take any catches away from Jordan Reed because Deshaun Jackson has made a career of 3 catches on 120 yards. So 3 catches on 4 targets. He's the long ball threat. Mm-hmm. Jordan Reed is not the long ball threat. He's the over the middle, reliable hands guy. Yeah. And you're right. It's always been production's never been a question. It's always just been injuries. He's thankfully stayed healthy this year. That's why we keep talking about him.
Yeah, and until he has his breakout week, which very well could be this week, he's gonna stay in that floating middle range where not a lot of people are playing him. His percentage played still isn't very high, so
no, and his price is still he's up there, but he's not top tier. He's not top 3, so you can still save some money by playing him. So fantasy goodness, juicy goodness. All right, this hurts me. This hurts me a lot. My next choice, but I do this for you. I don't do this for me. My tight end of note this week is Jason Witten of the Dallas Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. I think Jerry Jones is the devil. I hate Troy Aikman. I hate Emmitt Smith. I hate Jason Witten. I hate Des Bryant. But Jason Witten's a strong play. Jason Witten. Again, he's not a sexy name, but he's one of he might be the toughest player in the NFL. He's also the most steady and reliable tight end in the business. He's been doing it for a decade at this point. He's averaging 7 catches and almost 60 yards a game. It's not great, but 7 catches in a PPR, that's a touchdown. And I think after Dallas's game last week, I think we all know that Joseph Randle and Lance Dunbar not only had the best game of the season, but the best games of their career. That game is not going to happen again. Joseph Randle will not catch 10 balls in a game ever again. And so now what happens? They get to go up against the Rob Ryan atrocious excuse for a defense. And what's Rob Ryan going to do? He's going to concentrate on stopping Lance Dunbar and Joseph Randle because that's what stupid defensive coordinators do. And that's going to open up the middle of the field. And what did New Orleans defense already do? They give up the second most fantasy points to tight ends. And you couple that with the price of he's top 5. He's going for $6,000 on FanDuel and $4,400. Just a shade below the Jordan Reeds of the world, but 2 touchdowns and 80 yards is what I expect out of Jason Witten this week. I don't think they win the game, but Jason Witten will be the beneficiary. Brandon Whedon's not a terrible quarterback. That's what we learned last week, but he's a good game manager. He's not afraid to air it out. He tried to air it out a couple times last week. Terrence Williams had a couple terrible drops. But he's got a decent arm, but I think they'll reel it back a little bit and they'll just air it out in the middle of the field, and Jason Witten is a beast, and it hurts me deeply, it hurts my soul to say that Jason Witten is the good play.
Well, I'm not the Cowboys fan that Joel is, so bear with me. Jason Witten is one of the few reasons that you can watch a Cowboys game and still root for one player. The problem with me is that Jason Witten and Tony Romo are attached at the hip, and Brandon Whedon, though he can't throw it much further than Jason Witten's range, I feel like the Cowboys are going to go for a if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. They're going to run the ball and they're going to toss the ball out of the backfield to their backs. And I can't imagine.
But at some point, that's not going to work. like that they're not going to be able to face the Falcons every week. And that I'm not saying the New Orleans defense is any better than the Falcons, but the last week's game is an anomaly. What's more likely to happen is Jason Witten gets 8 catches in a game.
8 catches you're calling for Jason Witten?
8 catches and 2 touchdowns.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Were you just listening? I already said that.
No, I don't listen to your segments, Joel.
But you do, and that's why you win money.
They're usually pointless. I still feel safer with my Jordan Reed play. For $100 more. But it's hard for me to root against Jason Witten. I want him to do well. He has the talent to do well. It's just this offense is in flux, to say the least.
I don't want him to do well. I don't like him, but it's not about me. It's about the strong play, the value play. This is a value play this week. Jason Witten is, I think him and Heath Miller are very similar players. Jason Witten played with a lacerated spleen, for God's sake.
And that's a good point, because Jason Witten is playing with multiple injuries.
He always does. He has missed 1 game his entire career. 1 game, and it was his rookie year when he had a broken jaw.
Yeah.
What it was.
Jason Witten is the quintessential football player and surefire Hall of Famer. There's nothing wrong with him.
I will give it to him that he is one tough man.
He is.
But I think this is the week that he capitalized. Like the second most fantasy points again for the tight ends, the New Orleans Saints give up. I just think it has a recipe for disaster if you hate the Cowboys like I do.
I'll say this: you could certainly do worse.
You could. And you might.
And thanks for listening to our tight end spiels here at Burn Coverage. I'm Curtis.
And I'm Joel.
And we'll be with you every week breaking down your daily and weekly leagues for fantasy and DraftKings. Check us out, Burn Coverage on Facebook, Twitter, Burn_coverage, and YouTube, which you're probably watching.
Or give us a call.
Yeah, please.
Tweet us. We'll give you our phone numbers.
555 Eagles for Joel.
1-900 Jaguars.
No! It's hard for you to even say Bucks.
That's an actual number.
Yeah.
1-900 Jaguars.
Jaguars. Actually, 1-800-555 Bucks is what I thought you'd say. But
no.
We'll work on that for next week. We'll see you then.
We'll fix this in post. See you next week on the couch.
Bye.